Anthonites. I have stopped in at a Pinkberry at SM Mega Mall, and I wanted to discuss with you some things that I've noticed about Filipino eating culture. You know, this is so good, I might want to finish this before I make the video. Pardon me if I'm a little bit distracted during this video, but you know, it's kind of hard to not be distracted when you get a chance to sit this close to your biggest fan. If you're an expat or a tourist coming to the Philippines, depending on where you come in the Philippines, what you really have planned to do while you're visiting here, something you may notice is that occasionally food will be served on banana leaves. This can happen at theme restaurants, this can happen at sometimes like outdoor gatherings and festivals, things like that. And as a bonus, even if you go to a place like Baliwag or Endox, you can notice this as well, because one has a banana leaf stuffed inside the chicken, whereas the other serves the chicken wrapped up in a banana leaf. So that's an awesome cultural thing, and if you aren't expecting that, it may cause you to kind of do a double take the first time you see it. This next one, I want to be really careful how I handle it, because if I say it the wrong way, there are going to be some people who take it wrong and either look negatively upon me because of handling it improperly, or look negatively upon the Filipino people because I've somehow misrepresented it. There are times and places and subcultures here in the Philippines where it's okay to eat with your hands. In fact, there's an entire skill around this. It may seem a little bit odd to someone who's never seen it or experienced it or who hasn't grown up with that culture, but I promise you it's an interesting thing that everyone should try at least once. This is something that you often see during something called a boodle fight, which is sort of like a communal eating experience. Again, if you haven't ever have a chance to experience this or be part of one, I highly suggest that you do it, just because of the amount of culture and fun you can have. If you're the germaphobe type, it's probably not for you. One thing that took me a little bit of getting used to when I first got here is the fact that I would have to specially request a knife on some occasions. This seems to be because Filipinos are very used to eating with a spoon and a fork. In fact, you'll very often see while you're here in the Philippines for either business or travel or vacation, it takes a lot of skill to be able to get this right, but I will say that I have this strange appreciation now that I've been here for 2.5 years, like the skill that it takes to be able to use a spoon to cut things. I got all sidetracked and I've neglected my Pinkberry. Give me a second. It's quite common for food here to be served with the fat either in or on the food that you're being served, whereas a lot of times in the West, you may not see that as much. You may see a little bit of fat on a steak or what have you. It's very common here for the fat to be included with the meal. So if you're not okay with your food being served with a little bit of fat on it, you may be what the locals consider to be a little arte. Be prepared for lots and lots and lots of garlic. If you're a vampire, the Philippines is not the place for you. I happen to be a lover of garlic, but I will admit on a few occasions, I have found certain dishes to be way too much for me. Rice is a thing here. Now, when I say that rice is a thing here, there are going to be a lot of people who say, rice, a thing in Asia? Who knew? Stick with me. Rice is so ubiquitous to the culture here that you'll find it in places that if you're from the States like myself, or Canada, or even the UK, it may blow your mind a little bit. Rice is often served in place of breads and also starches, as they would be in the US or in the West. You'll often find rice can be served with things like fast food. So you can get a hamburger and rice, a hot dog and rice. It's something that your logical mind will tell you that you should have expected to see, but until you actually see some of the examples of this, you probably won't be able to fully wrap your mind around it. Also, when it comes to rice, this is gonna shock some people from the States and from Canada and from the UK. Rice is not just rice. There are so many different ways to serve it. Yeah, it's something that you should probably experience if you're coming here to the Philippines, because, I mean, why not? Speaking of rice, it's not uncommon for some restaurants to offer unlimited rice with meals. This can either be built into the meal or sometimes a slight upgrade. allowing you to add, say, an extra 15 peso and you getting unlimited rice while you're there for your meal. If you're coming to the Philippines for any reason, especially the Metro Manila area, you'll want to make sure that you check out a few food parks, calendarias, and other miscellaneous restaurant types. Calendaria is one of those really cool things that you're gonna want to check out while you're here. Or if you don't really understand the concept or you'd like to know more, I actually did a profile of one. If you check the eye on screen now, you'll see an interview that I did where I spoke to the owner of a calendaria here in Manila. Food parks are an awesome place to go with friends and or family, and it's a great place so that everyone can like sort of order something and then you all share. Also, like, it's a great place to make sure you go if you're, let's say you're not into sharing. It's somewhere you go and everybody can have what they want. This is a concept that I wish we had more in the States, simply because I don't know the number of times that I've taken family or friends to the mall simply to eat so that everybody can get whatever it is they want. That's a really good way to put it now that I think about it. It's kind of like a mall food court, but without the mall attached. Takeout counters are something that you may find a little bit foreign to you if you're coming here for travel. Essentially, it's kind of like a restaurant, but there's no seating, so you just simply take your food out with you. This is a place somewhat like Baliwag or Endox, though sometimes they also have seating. Something you may find odd, but definitely shouldn't, is the fact that buffets here in the Metro Manila area, and potentially even all across the Philippines, will add a surcharge to your buffet check if you don't finish the food that you got from the buffet. Again, this isn't something that should shock you, but it's a practice that is often threatened in the States, but not always carried through on. So don't waste food. If you're eating with friends and colleagues, you may find that people leave the last piece of something. Well, this is sort of for a reason. Similar to sort of party culture in the States where no one wants to take the last piece of something in order to be polite. It's like that, but probably times 100. In fact, there's a term for that one piece left. Here in the Philippines, that's known as the jahivis. So remember, don't get caught taking the jahivis. Another thing is, you'll rarely see people eating alone. Unless they're making a YouTube video, I wish maybe you'll see them eat alone. Culturally speaking, food is something that's often shared with friends, family, etc. So don't be weirded out if you get invited to lunch by a colleague or a friend or someone you just recently met. They may just want to make sure that they're not eating alone and you aren't either. I hope this video's been helpful for you. If it has, let us know in the comment section down below. Till next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those things that make me love my job. Also, be awesome to yourself and amazing to each other. Bye. This whole video is just an excuse for me to eat some pinkberry. Thank you so much for joining me on today's story on my cuento. Be sure to check out one or more of the things on screen now that'll lead you to even more stuff, because it's awesome.